With the new featured exotic armors list comes fresh builds, and with it, some that are whack and some that are wild. So, with that in mind, there's only one place to start: the new exotic, Eunoia. Eunoia is absolutely juiced. Hellion's been a great option since it came out, and it's always been an all-rounder, but Eunoia cranks it up to 11. At first glance, reading the description, all it says is improves Hellion, which sounds pretty whack till you start doing stuff like this with it. The season's got some crazy solar artifact mods that really makes Eunoia slap, but just on its own, it's incredible. With it, you can rain down Scorch on the entire battlefield, causing ignitions left and right, and the range on it is unreal. The way Eunoia works is, after your Hellion flies for long enough, it'll break apart, adding 4 extra shards. These shards track, just like the Hellion does, and can either spread and hit multiple enemies, or continue tracking to the original target. In a crowd, spreading Scorch means you're more likely to cause multiple ignitions or chain ignitions, and on a single target, it not only boosts your damage outright, but rattles out ignitions as fast as anything. This is where the artifact mod comes in. Radiant Shrapnel causes Scorch projectiles to fly off of enemies that you're either damaging while Radiant, or that you kill while Scorched. It's pretty easy to go Radiant, and if you're running straight Solar, you can maintain your Radiant with Solar kills, so as you're laying into a crowd of enemies, your Hellion's breaking apart, scorching a bunch of them, and everyone you kill or damage lets off more scorching projectiles. Ignitions are extremely easy to proc like this, especially if you've built in Ember of Char, which spreads Scorch off of those ignitions. Since Eunoia needs some distance for it to be as effective as possible, it pairs insanely well with my personal favorite weapon right now, which is Hierarchy of Needs. Hierarchy's rockets deal more damage the farther they travel, so you can post up at a vantage point, call on your Hellion for backup, and make it fucking rain. The damage from Hierarchy and Eunoia alone is insane right now. You can easily clear a room while you maintain ×2 restoration and Radiant the whole time. Against the boss, you're getting ignitions from every 2 launches of your Hellion, on top of a constant stream of arrows and rockets from Hierarchy. I've tried Eunoia with a few other options as well, namely Tommy's, Dragon's Breath, and some legendaries with the new Scorching perk, Burning Ambition. I also damage tested these options and came together with some rough DPS numbers. Some of the weapons and rotations interacted differently with Scorch and Ignition, so I stopped the clock once the damage stopped. For rotations where Scorch kept ticking after the last Hellion shot, I both included that damage as well as the time. These are rough estimates purely for comparison and are all at base with no Radiant. Base Hellion dealt 3,943 damage over 30 seconds, with a DPS of about 131. Hellion with Eunoia, and without breaking apart, dealt 4,124 damage in that 30 seconds, coming to approximately 137 DPS. At range, with the shards, it was clocking in at 5,734 damage, which is a roughly 40% increase at about 191 DPS. The damage for the main dart's impact was 235 up close and 249 at range, with 4 additional hits of 18 damage per shard. You also apply more Scorch with the shards, meaning that in 30 seconds I caused 5 ignitions at range, but only 3 ignitions up close without the shards. This is a pretty substantial damage boost since it's automatic, and that damage goes on top of any weapon rotation you use. As a baseline, Thunderlord dealt 27,235 damage, and it took about 33 seconds to drain its ammo for a DPS of about 825. Just using Hierarchy and Eunoia, I clocked in 14,274 damage in just 20 seconds at a staggering DPS of 713. That's a massive amount of damage, especially considering Hierarchy uses primary ammo, and with Ember of Singeing on, by the time my Hellion ran out, I already had another one charged. I also tried a bait and switch rotation using a Witherhoard, Ahab, and a Chill Inhibitor, which came in at 25,570 damage over 30 seconds for 852 DPS. Tommy's matchbook did okay, posting up 10,281 damage in about 25 seconds for a rough DPS of 411. This did cause more ignitions at 7, but even with that considered, the damage is rather low since a tier 1 Ahab Char with Burning Ambition had a DPS of about 304 and also caused 7 ignitions. Finally, I tested a rotation of Dragon's Breath, a Burning Ambition Ahab, and a Bait and Switch Mint Retrograde, which came to a total of 20,346 damage over just 20 seconds for a massive DPS of 1,017. I don't have the perfect rolls for this setup. I don't have rewind rounds on my mint, and I had to reload mid-rotation, as well as my Ahab only being a tier 1, so you can expect this rotation to improve with more optimal perks. With that in mind, Eunoia gives a massive boost to your damage rotations, especially if you can play into ignitions, causing up to 9 in a single Hellion cast when paired with Dragon's Breath. One thing to note about Eunoia is that sometimes the shrapnel has issues with its tracking, either not tracking at all or tracking in a way you maybe didn't want, so in combat there's likely going to be more inconsistency to the numbers you'll be getting. I don't think it's too much of an issue since the exotic is best served when you just keep your Hellion up as much as possible and let the benefits roll. With 100 class stat and Ember of Singeing, by the time my Hellion runs out, I almost always have more than enough for another charge of Phoenix Dive. Since I haven't had any issues with class regen, I've brought my grenade stat up so that I can reset my restoration if it ever runs out, which gives me the perfect loop of restoration, radiant, and a Hellion that has an almost 100% uptime. I've been running this with the Bushido set, which helps you get topped up during intense fights, and it's genuinely clutched out and saved me more than a few times. The damage resistance is awesome too, so you can take the fight when you want to, and press the advantage when you've got your abilities rolling. With Hierarchy, Eunoia, and a Bushido set, you become the solar turret. You can dive in, get your restoration started, and stand your ground letting it rain on any poor soul that gets caught between you and a guidance ring. This has been my go-to build so far this season. I just can't put it down. I've already clocked something like 10,000 kills on Hierarchy, and it won't be stopping anytime soon. This build's extremely versatile, puts out incredible damage for both adds and bosses, synergizes perfectly with the artifact mods, and can carry you through just about anything you could throw at it, solo or not. So, with a very high bar to clear, Eunoia starts the season off right, being absolutely wild. Let me know in the comments what featured exotic you think I should run next. Thank you so much for watching.